Hello, it's Ashton Lewis.
And I'm Daphne Lynn.
And you are listening to the
NDE World Podcast.
Welcome to the NDE World Podcast. I am your host, Ashton Lewis. In the studio with me today, I have my lovely hostess, Miss Daphne Lynn. Hello, Miss Daphne Lynn. Say hello to the friends and listeners out there in internet world. I don't know what you call it.
The online world out there.
What do you call that? Yeah. Just out there. Whoever's listening in the world. How's that?
That's right. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome,
Hey.
and we love you and appreciate you all.
Yes. That's what I was going to say. Yeah. I agree. The same thing right there.
Yeah, so how are you today, Ashton?
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you for asking. This is actually part 3 of an actual episode series we're going to be concluding today of a really, really good subject, a really good topic that it's really it
A lot of people have questions about.
Yeah, and what we do, we just like to share different perspectives on things. That's all it is. Different perspectives, so.
And being part of the NDE world, we like to take it to the experiencers and get their wisdom and what they've gleaned from their experience on certain topics.
Exactly. That's exactly what I meant.
Yes.
We share these different perspectives from different people.
Yes.
Thank you. So those who are here for the first time, welcome.
Hello.
And those who are returning, welcome back. And don't forget to go to the website, nde.world, for more information on who we are and what we do and all of that good stuff. Again, the website is
NDE.world.
Very good. So jumping right into today's topic of conversation. I tell you what, Daphne, why don't we just go straight into it? If you don't mind, maybe read the actual question / comment that this person actually posted.
Sure.
All right. And then we're going to pick up where we left off on the earlier episodes and just kind of share these different comments from people, like you said earlier, who have had these different experiences to give the listeners a different perspective.
Yes. So we're going to go straight into the comments instead of... All right, so the statement was this. Someone had asked or said that Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." He made many such statements, but most NDEers don't seem to reveal that this is true. Was Jesus suffering from delusions of grandeur? Did the writers of the Gospels propagate lies? I am or was a solid Christian, but now I'm struggling to know the truth about this. I desperately don't want to get it wrong. Can anybody please provide illumination gathered from their experience, preferably one who has or thought that Jesus is or was the only way? Thank you very much, and please, no philosophy, just the knowledge you gained from your near-death experience.
Okay, perfect. So, Miss Daphne, anything you would like to share with the listeners before we start, getting into these actual comments?
Yeah, there's been a lot of wisdom shared with this question through this series of episodes. This one is the same way. I highly recommend putting your thinking caps on, open up your heart, and then y'all please put your boots on, because it's going to get deep.
Y'all put your boots on. It's gonna get deep.
Very good, very good. Thank you, Daphne. So this first comment says, and disclaimer, guys, we're neutral. We just read these things, okay? We're going to share it with you. You take it. If it resonates, munch on it, digest it, take it in, and grow your spirit. If it doesn't, set it aside. Just keep on rolling with the flow. It'll make sense eventually. This first comment says that the Bible cannot be relied upon as being the exact words said from God/Creator. It has been translated and mistranslated so many times over the years, and things have been lost in the translations. It is a blueprint, however, of how we should be living our lives. Daphne.
This totally resonates with me, and from my own experience, this is a 100% resonating truth for me, that the Bible cannot be fully relied on as the exact words, because man has translated it so many times.
Yeah.
I used to believe in it wholeheartedly, 100%, that it was the 100% God send words.
Infallible.
Infallible, yes. But now, where I'm at in my walk, I see that there is that blueprint, like this person brought out, of how we should be living our lives. It does have beautiful teachings in it and examples of how to live our life. And it does transform lives.
Yes.
However, man has had his hand in it, so it's not, even the words in red, people, is not 100% the truth.
Well said, well said. And many people, especially in the West, guys, here in the West, most people think the Bible is directly dictated from God, delivered by angels, and handed, to man. But they really don't know. People don't know this, especially here in the West, that the Bible was given to us by the Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic Church, guys. Okay,
right.
that's who gave us our Bible.
And let's think about this.
It's a religion, just saying.
Right. In each religion, no matter where we are on this geographical plane, we have, like, the Bhagavad Gita, the Upanishads, the Bible, there's the Quran, the Torah, all these different
holy books,
holy writings and holy books that
currently over 400 and, don't quote me on that other part, 400 plus, I know, that I'm aware
just
of.
all the different writings, and all have been handed down through man, through the generations. We have to realize we are born with everything we need to live, love, and survive in this world without having to go through a set standards of religious books. You don't need religion to have morals. And if you can't determine the right from wrong, then you lack empathy, not religion.
All right, this next one looks like it's a little winded, but if you don't mind, maybe take the next one there, Daphne. And let's
Why
see
you always want to give me the winded
how many nuggets
ones?
we can grab out of it.
Okay.
Let's get some nuggets. Let's go nugging.
Let's go nug hunting. Okay. All right, so it says, don't forget you were born into a family that taught you that Christianity was the only way. What if you were born into a family in a small village in Africa that had never heard of Jesus Christ? What happens to all these people, these families, these children? The God that I know and experienced in my near-death experience is loving, and He is way more powerful than any church or religion can teach. Jesus accepted everyone. He ate with the Jews, the sick, with everyone. His message was to love everyone, not to only love certain people. The parts in the Bible that state that Jesus is the only way one can get to heaven was written to control the Christians. Christ was the Savior because He accepted everyone and gave people that were so oppressed hope. Christianity has developed, and the church made many revisions and interpretations to what Jesus said, did it simply to keep the power. Another way to control the masses was to make them feel bad, quote unquote, sinning was invented. Most of these pieces that were put into the Bible happened years after Christ's death. The church chose those pieces of what went into the Bible and what stayed out. There are many scriptures that have never been put in that canon.
Wow. This kind of touches on what we said earlier, that people don't know where the Bible actually came from. This exactly tells you exactly where it came from. So
yeah, and just like what we were saying, no matter where you're born at on this plane, you're gonna have your religious that is taught to you and handed down.
Yeah. And guys, can I, if I may, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Let me ask this to everybody out there, okay? More specifically Christians. And it's a very simple, open question, but it really gets you something to think about, okay? Because it would resonate with them. And I know because I was a Christian all my life. So,
right.
And I have family and friends who are, and I respect that and love them
Right.
regardless, Now, here's the thing. Does Jesus love only Christians? Or does Jesus love the whole world of humanity?
The whole world of humanity.
Yeah. And those out there, you don't have to answer.
Right.
Just something to think about. Does Jesus love only Christians? Does God love only Christians? Does God love any one religion in the world? No. You've got to understand that's not how it works, guys. It's a big world out there.
With many paths to source.
And just like you said, it depends on where you grew up at. Where were you born? What part of the earth?
What religion were you taught?
Yeah.
Here we were
Exactly.
taught Christianity because we're in the West.
Exactly.
You have Eastern religions
Right.
and think about how many. All right, this is a recent number, and it's probably gone up since we learned about it. But there's over 4,200 religions
Think about that.
available to mankind to learn about,
Yeah.
to practice.
Right.
Which one are you going to choose? Which one's right? Which one's wrong? Are they all
If they're
right?
all
Are they
right,
all wrong?
Yeah, if they're all right, then who's wrong?
Right. That's why these experiencers come back saying that religion was not a part of that experience. Religion is never asked about in any of these experiencers.
Right.
Not one time have I heard in learning about these experiences.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like this brings out here, it said that, Jesus accepted everyone. He ate with the Jews, the sick, with everyone. He said his message was to love everyone, not only certain people. You see? Now, here's the main thing that ties in with today's question and comment, that it says here that the parts in the Bible that state that Jesus is the only way one can get to heaven or to the Father was written to control Christians. Okay?
Right.
So, anyway.
And there's beauty in the message that Yeshua taught. He taught that everyone who is oppressed has hope. Everyone is loved.
That's right.
There is no one person more grand than the other.
Come to me, all.
Who are weary and loaded down. Yes.
All guys. All guys.
And
Listen,
in saying that, the different figures of each of these religions have taught the same message
That's right.
that Yeshua taught.
Exactly.
So there's many ways.
Yeah.
Many ways.
I like how you said that. And what these masters taught was called the way. They all live by the way. And what the way is living in harmony with
Living in love.
the law.
Yeah.
What is the law? The law is the law of the universe, okay? What we call the universe or God or whatever, they are natural laws that are set up, okay, that rule the world.
Universal laws.
It's called universal laws, yes. So that's what these masters taught. Now, we've got a surprise for you guys.
Coming up very soon.
Yeah,
I'm so
coming
excited.
up here, we're going to start incorporate that in our episodes is...
Those universal laws.
Yeah, as universal laws that will totally take your life to the next level, your whole spirituality. And we're also going to be breaking it down and tell you how you can actually use these laws
Put
and
it into
apply
practice.
them exactly in your life and
Yes.
how to put it into practice. So, and it's going to be a one episode at a time thing. And we've got over 150 of these universal laws. So, guys, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to do that. And we've got that literally in the works as we speak. So that's coming up soon.
And transformation is not a gradual process. It's an instantaneous thing. When you decide to put something into practice and take that step, you've done it. So it's just a matter of taking that step.
Baby steps.
That's right.
Yeah, take that step and then another step and then another step.
Right. So
Yeah.
put it into practice.
Well, I want to kind of wrap up with this part right here and then we'll move on. But I like it says here that, Christianity, guys, okay, was developed now, and the church made many revisions and interpretations to what Yeshua or Jesus actually said, and simply did so to keep the power.
Yeah.
Another way to control the masses was to make them feel bad. sinning, etc. It says most of these pieces that were put in the Bible happened years after Christ's death. Okay? And it goes on and on. Like I said, the church chose what to put in and what to keep out. So anyway, just think about that. You know, there's more to this religion. If you're willing, that's the key. If you are willing
to accept it,
or to look into it. I don't want you, Dane, we got to accept it. Just look into it.
Does it resonate?
If you're ready to break out.
Does it resonate with your soul being? If it resonates with your soul being, then that is a truth for you. If it does not resonate for you, then it is not a truth for you. And that's the beauty of going within, is to realize we are discerning moral beings. We control and guide our own lives.
Exactly.
Create our own lives.
And this is what Jesus taught. The real Jesus of history, guys. But you have to go pre-Bible. And that's so confusing for so many people. I was there, and I know.
I have been there myself. And I totally, and from where I'm at now, you know, I've had my experience with the masks of religion. And I said that in plural. That's not a stutter. The different masks, plural, of different religions. So I speak from experience, and my heart goes out to those that are yearning for more, yearning for that truth that resonates within, that feel that if they do, they're going to be condemned, they're going to be oppressed because of it. My heart aches for those people. Release that fear. Don't worry about what others think or feel about you.
And don't be afraid to break away.
Exactly, because this is your walk.
Yeah. But that does, pardon the interruption, that doesn't give you an excuse to get out and start doing harm. You know, you break away from any kind of institution.
Controlling.
Yeah.
You are in control of your life, not someone else. Create your world and make it a happy one.
Yeah. Break away from any pendulum. Any
Let go
religion,
of the
any
fear.
Institution, yeah.
And live in love.
Live in love. That's the key. Love has to be a religion. Because regardless of what mask you hide behind, if you don't have love with you, the mask you're wearing is worthless.
Exactly.
You know, you can be a Christian, but you can be a monster behind the mask. You see?
Oh, yeah.
Or you can be a Christian and be in harmony with, you know, the teaching
no matter
that
where
Christ
you are,
taught.
not just Christianity.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, just think about that. I don't want to get too sidetracked, but you know, these masks that people hide behind are just masks. They're you are a person, okay?
You sentient being.
Person is a persona. Okay, you are a persona. You are a mask. You are putting on a show. You are an actor. You are a person.
Right, yeah.
A person is an actor. Okay, think about this now. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you have to. You know, actors put on masks. They're not who they are. They just, you know, all of us are not who we are in that sense. You see.
You're just acting out a role
Right.
in this lifetime.
Right.
I get that, yes.
And see,
totally.
and now you take that and apply that to, say, like religion, for example.
Right.
Now people are behind certain masks, what we call religion. You know, some are behind the mask of Christianity. In other words, that's how they filter what I say. That's the filter they look through,
Right.
pretty much.
And that's the mask. That's the filter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So get rid of the filters.
Right. And just
go within.
Just see nature, you know, and let love rule.
Yes,
you know?
definitely. Let love guide your life in all aspects, because I've said it before. I'll say it again. It's something that cannot be said enough. We live in either love or we live in fear. One of the two at all times in our walk.
Yep. Most fear stems from self.
Get rid of the fears and live in love. When you do that, it transforms your lives.
It really does. It really does. Very good.
I speak from experience.
Thank you. So moving right along, this necklace says that there are just too many different faiths who are truly loving and selfless people. How is it possible? All right, you tell me, how is this possible that God would send these people to a tormenting hell, and yet the worst of all, quote-unquote, monsters who decided at the last minute on their deathbeds to repent and ask for forgiveness in Jesus' name would spend an eternity in eternal bliss. That's deep.
That's deep.
Comments.
Yes. I love, and we've mentioned this before, it just really ties in that there's just so many different faiths and people who are in them. These people are truly loving and selfless. And I have seen that in my walk as well. There's good in every quote unquote religion.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to accept that there is not just one specific way for us to experience source and get to that what we call the afterlife, because life is life. It continues eternally. We are a spirit. We are a soul that is experiencing human form right now. So we just return back to source. That's I'm going to quote from the Bible here because it's what comes to my mind. Absent in the body is present with the Lord. That is your soul, your spirit, returning back to that source energy. We are energy. We will return back to the energy source, that what we define as God or the divinity.
Right, exactly. That's my understanding as well. So,
yeah.
All right, moving right on along. Miss Daphne, would you take the next one, please?
Sure. Okay, it says, the fact that you are challenging what has been taught to you to believe is wonderful. If you start thinking that God loves us all, then you will soon connect that religion does not matter. What matters is how we treat one another, and that we treat one another with compassion and love. There is nothing wrong in practicing your faith, but being open-minded that there is one God that loves all. God loves all. Christ was a messenger to that one religion, but there are many others. The Bible was written by men. It is a good guide, but don't take it literally because it also has its flaws.
Okay, thank you. So again, I like how it starts off. Just the simple fact that you are challenging what you've been taught. That's a sign of growth, guys.
Yes.
If you're starting to awaken and you're starting to challenge your belief systems, that 2 thumbs up. If I had more thumbs, I'd put them up for you. But keep in mind, that is the earliest signs of spiritual awakening.
Right.
So you want that.
Yeah. Like we recently read in the Conversations book, that life begins when you step out of your comfort zone.
That's right.
Step out of your comfort zone, people.
Yeah.
Yes.
So would you like to share that with the listeners? Do you have that close by?
Well, I have one that was tying in with this comment.
Sure.
That I was saying earlier, you either live in love or you live in fear. Okay, and they was talking about getting back to living in love and getting rid of that fear. So this is what the Conversations book says. To do this, talking about getting rid of the fears, turn aside the teachings of your well-meaning but misinformed worldly tutors and teachers, and hear the teachings of those whose wisdom comes from another source. There are many such teachers among you, as always there have been, for I will not leave you without those who would show you, teach you, guide you, and remind you of these truths. Yet the greatest reminder is not anyone outside of you, but the voice within you. This is the first tool that I use because it is the most accessible. The voice within is the loudest voice with which I speak to you because it is the closest to you. It is the voice which tells you whether everything else is true or false, right or wrong, good or bad, as you have defined it. It is the radar that sets the course, steers the ship, guides the journey, if you but let it. The voice which tells you right now whether the very words you are hearing are words of love or words of fear. By this measure can you determine whether they are words to heed or words to ignore.
Nice. So what they're saying there, correct me if I'm wrong, if I had to sum it all up, go with your instinct, go with your
Own
your
intuition.
natural own intuition, your God-given feeling, your senses. We call it the gut feeling, or that
Yeah.
your whole body is a sensor. So you will sense different things at different levels. You see, but for the most part, really deep spiritual or deep choices in life, if you tune into that that solar plexus area, that
Right.
feeling or that spirit, it will guide you. It really will.
Yes.
We call it resonate. We use that
Yes.
a lot on here. It will resonate, and when you hear a spiritual truth, the more spiritual you are, the more truth resonates.
More defined and more loud it gets.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a really wild phenomenon as well.
Yeah, and that's just that communication with Source. And I say he, I'm sorry, forgive me for that. But that Source energy, that divine energy is all of us. We communicate with it. It communicates with us daily. Are you listening to that voice? Or are you ignoring it?
Right. Like this person brings out, what matters is how we treat each other.
Yes.
The compassion, the love that we put out, etc. Says that there's nothing wrong in practicing your faith. Okay?
Right.
But just be open-minded that there is one God that loves us all.
Yes.
You see?
Applause, please. Yay!
Yes. And this is what Christ, the real Yeshua of history, taught, and then so many other
And all the other
masters that preceded
yes.
him. So that's just little tips for you guys there. So
Yes, and I like too that this person says that the Bible was written by men, and it's a good guide, but do not take it literally.
right,
It's an allegory, a means, a way for us to
guidebook. But
Yes.
It's not a full manual.
change our lives. Yeah. And that's why the Bible does transform lives. Because if you're applying some of those teachings, the small little truths that is stringed and threaded throughout it, then your life will change. Because that's the divine within all of us. That's us seeking out that greater being that's within us.
And it's you raising to what we call Christ
Consciousness.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's what these guys did. They
And-
obtained Christ consciousness, what we call God. It's your highest form of
Right.
you.
You know, I work with different nationalities, and we call it here in America Christ consciousness. But a lot of the people that I work with, they call it Krishna consciousness.
Correct.
So it's
And
that
even other forms.
raising your level of consciousness and realizing the oneness that is out there.
That's what it is. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
exactly what it is. It's not one set way. We have to realize this.
Exactly. Okie dokie, moving right on along. Now, this next one says that I believe the masters, which Jesus and so many others, are ones who have learned and purified themselves in the course of many lifetimes. Apparently, such entities incarnate on earth from time to time with the mission of teaching lessons in love and setting an example to be reached and achieved. This is their mission. Given the proper proportions, we can include Gandhi and others under such a title as well.
Yes, most definitely. And that's why when we comment on a lot of these, when we say Jesus, and we also include the many other masters, because there's many throughout lifetimes that have come and set that example, because there's always going to be someone needed to share the message of returning to spiritual things and realizing your divinity, realizing the oneness of all things. There's always going to be those masters.
I got a strange paradox for you.
What's that?
Say, for example, this is a book that's making a claim. That's all it is. It's a book. Really.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't know where it came from. You don't know who wrote it. You don't know what the agenda is or was, Here's the paradox. In this book, it says that someone else had said, okay, and which was written by somebody, from what I understand, a minimum of, 60, 70, 80 years to 100, 200,
65.
300 years later.
Yeah, 65 and up.
And we know how stories change. Remember the example of you listening to a sermon this Sunday. Next week, you're not going to remember every word. You're putting all your faith in a book. That's something that might have happened at one point in time, but wasn't even written about until, 60, 70 years later, you said?
Right.
From what I understand?
Yeah, I think the first writings was Mark, and that was like 65 years after
this experience of the way.
Right. Yeah.
So here's the paradox. This book says that this person says that I am the way, the only way to get to this. You got to go through me, okay? However, the original writings that precede, okay, the Bible itself, the ones that, they took, the Bible got a lot of its information from, okay? There's many of those out there. The one of my favorites is the actual Gospel of the 12, aka also,
Gospel of the Nazarenes. Yeah.
The Gospel of the Nazarenes. Thank you. So in that, and here's the paradox. The Bible says that Jesus said that he is the only way, where in the Gospel of the Nazarene, the book that claims to have the oldest sayings of Jesus that preceded the Bible, Jesus himself says that the all, or the mother, father, the all parent, what we call God, whatever, sends masters after masters after masters from the beginning of time to teach us and share these things with us. And man treats them all the same, and usually ends up killing them. And,
Exactly.
So
and that ties in with the conversations
It does.
with God books. I mean,
It does,
it's
guys.
that resonant truth. Yeah.
So think about that. I just
Yeah.
wanted to say that. So, okay, so you've got this one book that's making a claim that somebody said. Okay, that's you. Anyway,
Right.
this book says that this person said that they are the only way. Okay, whereas the book that precedes that, okay, am I making any sense? Am I just
I
like
know
crazy
because
here?
I know what you're saying because I have read the book. In that phrase that Christians claim that Jesus said that he was the only way.
Right.
In the Gospel of the Nazarenes, that Christ says that no one comes to the all but by these, and he broke down I am,
Right,
which is each one of us, the way, living with nature and love,
living in the way.
the truth, which resonates with you, and that brings the life.
Yeah.
So the way, or I am the way, the truth, the life. Those are distinct things, not a sentence that someone said.
And what really, the kicker, it says, and by these.
Exactly, yes. By
Think
these.
about that. So the Gospel of the Nazarene breaks it down. You want eternal life? Well, I am the way, the truth, the life. I am. Well, you have to understand what I am is. I am. Just say it. Okay, now, all you got to do, any one of you in the world, any of you, do it right now. All you got to do is say that, I am, and that is the truth. You see, that is eternal, absolute truth.
Because you are being.
Yeah. I am. So you exist. So there is a consciousness there. There is something there that is aware. There is an awareness there.
Right.
So you are the I am.
Right.
I like that. You are the I am.
I am that I am.
Yeah. So little things to think about, just
Yes.
little spiritual nuggets there, So anyway,
Yes.
there were multiple masters, and there still are people out there who are teaching love and oneness and love for all of humanity and all of animals and all of life. And it's not divided by a certain, religious institution that, teaches and believes in certain doctrines or indoctrination or certain things like that. So you have to be careful with that kind of stuff, guys, because it doesn't unite humanity.
Right.
It divides, so that's not a good thing.
Right, and that's why I read this earlier from the conversations, that we must turn aside from the teachings of our well-meaning but misinformed worldly teachers and tutors and hear the teachings of those whose wisdom comes from another source.
Mm-hmm.
There are many teachers among us. There always have been, there always will be. I will not leave you without those who would show you, teach you, guide you, and remind you of these truths. Yet the greatest reminder is not anyone outside of you, but the voice within.
Exactly. I love that. The voice within is what? You. That's what we call God. It's you.
It is
It's
God
not just
experiencing
the
itself
vessel.
here.
Yeah. You are the vessel, don't get me wrong, but your essence is that within. That's where all your everything is. And if you knew that and you would tap into that instead of just tapping into yourself or
You get caught up in the story.
your homemade ego, that you think who you are, and the truth is you're not. Like Daphne said, you're caught up in the story. You need to meditate. You need to get away from all the rat race and all the garbage in your head, quieten that mind, and get back to the inside.
Right.
That's where your truth is going to resonate.
Right.
You got to get away from yourself.
Listen to that what resonates within. Go within.
Perfect. Well, I'll tell you what, Miss Daphne, it looks like we got time for a couple more. Actually, in fact, we only have a couple left, so let's go ahead and knock those out, and we'll go ahead and wrap this episode up, and see what we got out of it. How's that?
Sounds great.
Perfect. Would you like to take next one, please?
Says, I think and believe Jesus was a person only. What made him special was his Christness. And I think that Christ represents the love of God. So anyone, anywhere, who chooses God's love is, quote unquote, saved, in my humble opinion. I believe in that statement he meant to underline God's love rather than himself as a person. I don't think he cares about if you choose God's love through him or through something else. I believe he only cares that you choose God's love somehow.
Okay, nice perspective. You see, and that's what this show is all about, guys. Just giving everybody different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
So this person says that they believe that Jesus was a person only. Well, how could he not be? All of us are human. Jesus was a human. The difference between him and you and I is that his main life was focused on his divinity.
He realized
we
his
don't
divinity.
spend our time on our divinity. There are those in the world who do focus and work on their divinity, but most of us are just little babies scratching not even being able to scratch the surface. I mean, really, in the big picture, okay?
Right.
So Jesus, yes, he was a human, okay, and he was divine, but you are a human, okay? You are divine. It's just that we're all at different levels of that divinity. In other words, the more spiritual, the more divine, the more graceful, peaceful, those are the ones who are closer to that, what we would call that source of what we call love. And that's what Christ is, the essence of love, that consciousness, that divine love. Yeshua, or Jesus, was a human that was able to tap into that.
He knew his
Christ
divinity,
consciousness.
and he was trying to raise the consciousness of everyone else.
Correct.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the reasons we are here through this podcast, to share and help to raise that consciousness, to help everyone realize that you are divine. You are special. We get down on ourselves and condemn ourselves more than any other person out there. We've got to stop doing that, because we are created in Source Energy's love. We are here to experience and realize our divinity and create our worlds based on that.
Well said.
Thank you. Spirit.
Yeah, I like that, but that's the thing. All of us are, guys, and then we always say this on the show. Let me put it out there. Set the ego aside, because us telling you that you're God is not going to resonate if you're filtering through your ego, guys. It just won't. I'm telling you right now.
Oh, yeah.
You'll see it as a satanic or demonic or blasphemy. I mean, you'll find a million excuses, because ego don't want to change. Ego don't want to have to get rid of itself and learn to, hey, it's not about self. You see, so it's going to put up a fight.
Right. So I have to ask you, Ashton, because we've heard and listened to many different teachers and guides out there. Can you recall the first time that you heard the statement, "You are God"? What was your thought, your first immediate reaction to that in relation to what you were listening to?
No, I can't remember.
You know, it's funny that you say that because I do remember my first thought.
Pardon the interruption, but I do remember it didn't resonate with my belief system at that time. I do remember that.
Exactly.
I heard it and it's like, oh no, this is demonic, or because I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for it. I do remember that.
Yeah.
But as far as the first time or the when, I really don't remember when.
Right. Yeah, my first time hearing it was listening, and I love Wayne Dyer's teachings.
Yeah.
He was the one that I heard this from the very first time, and I literally gasped, and I had to turn it off, even turn the program that I was listening to off, because ego said, whoa, you're going against something here. So I made that separation. And that's what we have to get away from, is that separateness, that division. Get back to the unity. And that is what every one of these masters who came and set the example for us was trying to do, was let us realize our divinity.
And guys, there's only one number one.
And the unity.
There's only
and
one
that's
number
every
one.
one of us.
Yeah.
There's only one.
Yeah.
Only one.
There's only one number one. And when you realize that, it's life-changing, you see. But you're going to have to work on ego, all of us.
Yeah.
It takes years, guys, so don't feel bad because it took years to build it. So we're all going to be working on that daily.
Okay, yeah. And think about this. Okay, stepping out of your door, out of your four walls that you call home. Step out into nature. No matter where it's at, in the mountains, in your backyard, at the beach, on a desert island somewhere. I mean,
even a fireplace in the backyard, or a fireplace in the house.
Anywhere. And tell me if that doesn't resonate. Do you not feel one and closer to source than anywhere else in your life? I can recall for myself that I've always loved being out in nature because that's where I feel peace. That's where I feel that oneness with everything, because that is a truth. That is an absolute truth.
Yeah, and the higher, more spiritual a person is, I believe, of course, I'm throwing another belief there, so keep that in mind, then the more appreciative they are of nature and the deeper things in life like that. Whereas people who don't really care much about their spirituality sometimes kind of goes hand in hand. They don't really care much about, the world of nature as well. Just an observation, just a belief.
Right,
I'm not saying that is a fact, but just to kind of throw in there, something I noticed.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so moving right on along, let's go ahead and wrap up this last one, Daphne, and if you don't mind, go ahead and take it for us, please.
Sure. Okay, it says, now, we reap what we sow. We suffer the consequences of our actions. This is the truth. Personally, I believe this passage, the way, the truth, and the life, no one comes to the Father except through me, was put in by the Roman Catholic Church to exercise its power and influence on the people and say that it was the only way.
All right, guys, keep in mind another perspective. Anyway, comments, Daphne.
So, right off the bat, right out the door, we reap what we sow. This is the law of cause and effect. We suffer the consequences of our actions. Yeah. That is the truth.
You can't get around that, guys. And how do we do that? Well, either it will happen in this realm, in this you call life, or this incarnation. You will get either all of what you've planted, but most of the times you don't harvest until your life review, okay? And that's what we refer to in the NDE world. Your life review is your heaven and hell and judgment and reaping and karma. It's
all
everything all
one.
rolled up in one, because you get to experience and re-experience life from all perspectives, including the people you were involved with.
Exactly. And I believe that is why these experiencers are getting this 360, because it is a full circle coming back to what you have done in your life. You get to see it from all perspectives, from every thought, word, action, and deed of someone else that you affected. You feel that. You feel it from Source's perspective. That's that complete balance. 360, the balance and everything.
Think about that.
Yeah.
It's just balancing the scales. Yeah, perfect.
Exactly,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Well, good. And so let's wrap up on this last comment here, Daphne, or part of the comment. So to tie in with today's question, is Jesus the way? Well, if it works for some people, absolutely. Yes, in that regard. Is it the only way? No.
That's a
you know,
truth.
yeah, so there's many ways to be a good person and to live in harmony with the universal laws and natural laws and to love, and that's in
Right.
many forms in different religions. So that's just a broad perspective.
Right, and I said this earlier, and I want to say it again, is we don't need religion to have morals, to have standards,
That's
to
right.
have love. If you can't determine right from wrong, then you lack empathy, not religion.
Yeah, well said. Keep that in mind, guys. Well said, well said. So with that in mind, the last part of this comment ties in. I'm going to use it to answer, okay? It says that, quote unquote, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me, was an input
Yes.
by the Roman Catholic Church to exercise its power and influence on the people to say that it was the only way. Any final comments, Daphne?
Yeah, I mean, you really think about this. The Roman Catholic Church, where it says that this statement from Jesus is the only way. If it's the only way, then why is there so many scrolls and books under the Vatican, under lock and key, that is only accessible by
The select few.
the select few? Yeah. Why is there so many books and teachings down there being hidden from mankind? If, quote unquote, Jesus is the only way, why is that knowledge not being shared? Because it
Exposes
breaks that down
the
and
agenda.
exposes, yes. And they lose
Exposes the
control.
agenda.
They lose control. If religion doesn't have control,
They crumble.
they crumble, yeah. They lose their money, they lose their power.
Yeah, because
And
it's built on
that's
that.
part of raising that consciousness, that and us realizing the oneness within.
You should love, love, love all, regardless of what their belief system is. Because belief system, it's all BS. It's belief system.
Exactly.
It's all BS. And your belief today will change tomorrow. Today's belief is something different than what you believed from yesterday. All right? So just
Yeah.
keep that in mind. Beliefs change. They don't mean nothing. So, perfect. Any final comments?
Yeah, I think overall, like you said, and I'm going to quote from this experiencer, what I learned in my NDEs, which is plural, is love. And that's what we have to get back to. It's loving and allowing each person to have their own way in relation to the Creator. What is your relation? Do you communicate with it?
Are you letting it flow through you and express unconditional love? Or are you selfish? Are you making choices that reflect selfishness?
Right.
Is everything you do, is it about yourself? Or you want to do things to yourself or for yourself instead of others? You see?
Right. And it's not about putting someone else down for their beliefs.
Exactly.
And speaking from my own experience, when I was in religion, I did that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have to reap what I sowed from that. I'm going to have to relive
all
that.
part of it.
It's all part of it. So we cannot condemn someone else for their beliefs, because their beliefs are truths for them.
Right. Very well said. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Well, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Thank you, Daphne, for your interactions and words of wisdom there and sharing that with us and the listeners
You
today.
as
And
well.
we
Thank
are
you.
looking forward to the next episodes. We've got some really good stuff in the works for you guys, so we're looking forward to that as well.
I can't wait to start covering the universal laws. Oh my gosh.
That's what I'm looking forward to, and that's going to start soon, by the way, just to let
Yes.
you know.
And it's from reading this, it's so easy to put into practice now, right now, the eternal now that we are in.
And keep
It's
in
so easy.
mind, to go with that thought, pardon the interruption, that these universal laws aren't religious based, okay? They
No.
are things that affect all of us, whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, whether you choose it or not. Okay?
Religion aside.
Yeah, so these are universal, and these are what's called part of the law. And the law is broken down to all these elements. And we just break the elements like the law of cause and effect, the law of vibration, the law of whatever. Like, so there's like
Rhythm.
over 150 of them, so plus that we've got that we're going to be sharing. So,
Yeah.
but and I like how you put it, that we're going to cover these laws, but we're also going to be able to share ways that we can start growing together as a consciousness, group consciousness, you know.
Yes. I look so forward to it. I can't wait.
Perfect. Well, don't forget to go to the website, guys, NDE.world for more information, and we'll see you guys over there. We love you so much. May peace be with you all. Until next time.
Y'all let your light shine.
Hello, you beautiful souls. Don't forget to visit the website, NDE.world. That is
NDE.world.